You want to gather a few things. Of course, you're going to need your basket base. You're going to want to have 4 clothespins. You will need some half-inch, or this is quarter-inch reed that has been soaking for at least 5 minutes as well. And you're probably going to want a pair of scissors. So to begin this, we're going to remember to keep your name on the outside. So this is going to be the bottom. I'm going to place it on the table. And then the first thing you do is upset your spikes, it's called. And you're just basically going to fold them all the way down to the opposite side. And this will help form the sides of your basket so they start to go straight up instead of rounding out. And you want to just press on those carefully. And I make this flat as possible, and I pinch it down, and then I release and do the next one. You want to try to do your best to make sure that they line up with the spine as it goes across so that you are going straight up instead of making your spines crooked. And you're just going to go all the way around the basket until you have them all folded. Now you'll know when you are finished because when you try to fold them, it'll seem a lot easier. Then the next thing you want to do is you're going to clip 3 of the spines together at the top. And that's what the clothespins are for, to help you just form the sides and to get the reed going in the right direction. So with 4 clips, you'll put 3 together and just clip it. And now you are ready to start your weaving. So you're going to take a piece of this 1/4-inch reed that has been soaking. And it doesn't really matter where you start, but you always want to start behind a spine. Okay, so instead of starting in the front, we want to start behind. That way we will be able to hide our ends. If we start with this in front, then we're going to have this sticking out, and it's going to kind of make it look like it's unfinished. So I'm going to start behind here, and I'm going to go, so this is under, over, as I go around. Now when I get to here, I unclip so that I can go under, and then go over, and go under. And I want to push this down as far as possible. And then once I get through those 3 spines, I'm going to re-clip them together. And then I come to the next one, and I unclip. So now I'm under, this one's over, I go under, and I find it helps if I hold this one here when I go under the next one. So this is over, under, over. Now I'm going to re-clip these, so it helps keep the shape. And then I continue, this one's over, so here I'm going to hold here, unclip, so I can put this under. See how this will bend without making the reed move. Over, under. And I'm going to re-clip this together. And then I get to my last one here. So this is where I started. Now, I need to continue here. This is over, and then I go under. But at this point, I'm going to be overlapping. So I'm putting this one on top of the other. So you can only see one. It goes stacked right on top. If you look at it, you can see the double thickness here. And then I have to go past this spine by 3. So I'm going to clip this back up. So this is where I'm overlapping. So this would be 1. I go under this one. Then I go over. And then I'll go under this one. Now I like to keep it on top, so then I know where to cut. So I want to cut right in the middle of the spine. So I take my scissors and I cut right in the middle of that spine. And because this is under, it will be tucked behind, and you will not see that end. Not only have I hidden this end where I ended, but you cannot tell where I started either because it's overlapped. If you look down from the bottom, you can see where it's doubled. But other than that, from the outside, you will not be able to tell where your ends stop and start. Now, it's important for you to know where they have stopped and started, because we don't want to have this overlapping always in the same place. So what I like to do is, this is where I ended and started before. So I'm going to do a quarter turn. So these are the spines I was working on. I'm going to start on this set this time. And now each row is a new piece of reed. The other thing with the second row is this has to be opposite. So if this is over, then I need to be under over here. So I always want to start under. So I'm going to start here with under, and I try to keep it right in the middle of the spine so that you can't see it. And I'm going to unclip and go over and under. Then I'll clip these back up. Go to my next one, unclip. So this should be over and under, over. Now I want to clip this back up. Go to the next one. Always making sure I do opposites. So if it was over last time, it should be under this time. So this one should be under. And I keep pushing them down tight too, because we want the reed to stay close together. The closer these are, the stronger your basket is going to be. Now I go back to clip and go up to the next one. Over, under. Now sometimes because I'm coming apart here, I just need to retuck this in. And then once you get this next row on, it's going to help hold this in place. Because of the opposites, this is starting to stand a little bit better. Clip. And then here I come to where I began. So again, I start by going under this one. So this is 1. Here's 2. And here's 3. So I can cut in the middle and then tuck this underneath. Then I want to reclip. And then I'm going to rotate this a quarter turn. And now I'm ready for row 3. So I'm going to start under here, unclip. And now you'll notice when you unclip, the pieces don't move around as much because this weaving here is starting to hold the spines where we want them. So generally, I say when you get the third row on, this is 1, 2, 3, you really don't need to use your clips anymore. So then I can take this one off, go over, under, over. And as I do my third row, I also try to work on spacing because we want these to be about equally spaced. You don't want them to crisscross like this or get really close together or be really far apart. So just work on your spacing, and you'll notice when you start to move things, it's a little bit tougher. It just doesn't happen as easily as it did before. So I continue to work on my opposites, over, under. This one's a little crooked, so I'm going to readjust. Keep going all the way around, pressing this down so you can't really see any light showing through there. You want it to be nice and snug. And I go to this last one, over, under, over. And then here I am back to where I began. So this one would be under. That's number 1, 2, and 3. So then I can clip this one more time and tuck it behind so it's stacked one on top of the other. So now that I have my 3 rows complete, I can go around and look for the spacing of the spines. So I'm adjusting the spacing of the spines. So this is where I ended with the last one. So I'm going to do a quarter turn, and I will start under here. Here I get to the overlap. This is 1, 2, 3, and I will cut. And you just keep continuing until you're approximately 1 inch from the top. And if your spines are not all the same, like this one looks like it's a little bit shorter than the ones next to it, I have to be 1 inch from the shortest one. Okay, and if you're not sure what 1 inch is, if you take your thumb and go to your first knuckle from the tip, that is about 1 inch.